New story arc? Let's see if calm waters makes for smooth sailing on this episode of The Hapless Heroes.
As a response to this challenge, I blow a dexterity bubble.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Hapless Heroes podcast. I'm Francesco, and is it so good to be back in the DM seat this evening. Joining me, as always, are a wonderful cast of characters. I'm going to introduce them starting on my virtual, let's say right this time, with John as Lord Jarrell the Light.
It still hurts.
Phil as Hedrick the Entertainer.
Well, thanks for the evac, but what if my audience needs an encore?
Mike as Lord and Captain Quinn Southwind.
What a delicious drink of nourishment.
Dave as Omega Project Prototype 0.
For as good as it feels for Fran to be in the chair, it feels just that good for me to be out of said hot seat.
And joining us tonight, a very special guest, we have Nicole. Nicole, who are you playing tonight?
Hey guys, it's Boris. How's it going?
That's right, folks. Boris the Butcher making a return. We'll get to Boris a little bit later. For now, when we last left our party, y'all were on an airship with about 200 students from the Lighthouse of Legrodex that you rescued from the clutches of some strange soul-filled automata controlled by the one and only Ebenezer himself, the man responsible for the fall upheaval 160 years ago. Big bad dude that seemed very interested in what was beneath or inside this in the school / lighthouse. We believe that Quinn had discovered that secret, in that there was some sort of magical liquid being contained in there that would give you mastery of the sea. It was something, a closely guarded family secret of the South Winds themselves. As we know, Quinn's sister, Tessa, is one of the Sea Lords and runs the Kingdom of the Sea Lords, and, that's based out of Ardwall on this little island here. And we'll have to see what effects that will have. I think his stomach is still processing what he just imbibed. We have Zero, obviously piloting the airship, trying to get us out of immediate danger because these automata have been trying to leap from the top of this tower and onto the airship as you make your escape. You've already, we already had kicked one off because Jed Dim, is it valorously, like with valor, right? Is that how you pronounce it?
Sure. Sounds great.
I speak English, folks. Don't worry. It is my first language. But valorously tackled it off of the airship and plummeted to the ground and presumably died. But at the same time, you, the audience, have seen Jed Dim die once before. His body was carried back aboard the airship, and there is a small silent service happening below decks to honor the life of first mate Jed Dim.
We're having a ceremony for the remembrance of Jed Dim.
Yeah, it's like a silent ceremony. I mean, in that, when the mayhem machine was brought back aboard the airship, Tabi brought Jed's lifeless body out, and some of the crew members have just kind of gathered around and are saluting, the brave and angry Jed Dim. However, above decks, there's also quite a bit of commotion happening as everyone is furiously working to get the airship moving as quickly as possible. There is definitely a noticeable dip in altitude as you guys are carrying more weight in people than you ever have before on this thing. Not to toot my own horn, but Felix had a good idea to shove about 50 students, as many of the SCABA apparati we had, to have them breathe in the holds of holding to help reduce some of the weight, but it's still sagging quite a bit. So the airship is definitely being pushed to its, absolute limits right now. And we're kind of getting we're teetering on the edge of losing enough altitude that we're going to be trying to sail this thing soon enough.
Okay.
You guys are currently, I would say, probably about 50 miles from shore. Or I know I say more like, let me pull up the map. Just make sure that I have my distances right.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure. I think I know what peninsula it is. We were on an island off the end of that peninsula.
Yeah, so it's an island in the Blood Bay, right? Just to the, it's north by northeast of Ardwall itself, which is at the southern end of the this Isle of the Sea Lords.
Mm-hmm.
If I were just to kind of guesstimate a distance, you guys aren't super far from shore. You can kind of see it just from being airborne, but you're losing altitude rapidly. So it's coming up quick, and unfortunately, you're actually now trying to maybe hopefully prepare for a water landing, if anything, because you are still many miles away from Ardwall itself.
Is there any way we can drop people off? Yeah, on the south wind. Yeah.
Well, the south wind itself is actually providing covering fire for your escape, as some of the ghost ships that had emerged from the water outside of the lighthouse are, putting up a good fight. However, the south wind is this mighty vessel with, just dozens of cannons on either side, and they are ripping these ships to shreds. But there's that sort of cacophony of cannon fire below. It seems as though the fleet itself, the defense fleet itself, is a bit occupied at sea. You guys are going to be probably flying solo to get back, while they provide your cover for escape.
Can I assume that any loose articles and stuff are cleaned up off? Because I would think we want to maximize the holds of holding. So most things are kept in there unless necessary.
I think based on who is in charge of equipping this ship, which was the Omega Project, right? Everything is very securely fastened inside the holds themselves and organized, so as not to just have things flying around in flight. Also, technically, the hold is an extra-dimensional space, so it both exists in the airship and doesn't exist in the airship at the same time. So it may not inside obey the same laws of inertia and physics as it would if you were standing outside the hold on the airship.
And that's what I assumed, that there were several doors, and one of them was an extra-dimensional hold of holding. And we don't have loose materials, loose crates, loose equipment, any of that hanging around topside.
The kitchens might be a mess right now.
Okay, whatever.
About to say, well, the kitchens were already a mess.
Right. So I'm not sure. I'm not really sure if you would know the difference, honestly. The students, some of them are having a little bit of air sickness, as this is probably the first time many of them have been on a flying ship.
Yeah, give them a minute.
But some of the crew are coming around with just barf bags and things like that to kind of keep them situated. This is the most amount of people you've ever had on this airship, though. Your crew is a tenth of this size. So it's a little packed below decks.
Captain, we're getting a little heavy for our britches here. What's our next course? Are we just going to crash the waters and do this the old-fashioned way? That seems a little brash, Captain. I think you're a little out of
Just
line.
kidding.
Okay.
The world's greatest airship pilot is not waiting for this to resolve, because the world's greatest airship pilot knows that we got to get out of this stall.
So, yeah, the question was posed, Quinn. I guess what are you giving any orders? Or are you just trusting the quote unquote world's greatest airship pilot, according to his mug, Zero?
I feel like Zero has held his own for this entire time. So I am going to let him do his thing, and if he makes a decision that I disagree with, we'll see what happens.
He's only killed like
I'm
three.
Because I wasn't
questioning-
really asking anyone.
He also has guns attached to his body, so I'm not really all that about, fighting with him right now.
Fair.
I'm
so-
questioning if Quinn even knows how to pilot the airship, because I don't believe he ever has.
No, he just has to be a captain. He doesn't have to be a pilot.
Yeah, but,
I
but like,
know-
does he
I know
really
what I
know?
know.
Does he know what
I know
to
what I
do?
know, and you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Good lord. All right.
Okay.
That is
So-
my title. Yes.
Me too.
So Zero's plan here, if it has come to zero, and
Yes.
well, even if it isn't, is so he's got the big oversized ship wheel in his right hand, and in his left he's got the mug of the boss filled with a nice steaming 5W30, something nice and light. And he proceeds to, like the fox at the end of early Man Show episodes, just in one smooth motion, chug the entirety of the mug, plunk it down on the console next to him, and immediately start the airship into a almost vertical dive.
Oh my god.
We're
Everybody
pulling out of a stall here.
everybody grab onto something. No? Nobody? Cool.
Yeah.
All
I am grabbing on.
We don't have to let it get too low. I only need to clip about 100 feet or so of air to get the speed I need, but once we do that, then we're going to pull it back up to level and see what kind of altitude we can coast out with.
Sure. Give me a check. Let's see. We're going to use your dexterity, and it's going to be a disadvantage, seeing as how.
Yeah, there
That's-
are innocent
Wait,
civilians
no,
involved.
actually-
So yeah, let's
Well,
do
no,
this.
because like you're not trying to avoid hitting any of them. So actually, no. Just make me a regular check.
All right, a regular just a dex check or a dex save?
Dex check.
Dex check.
Although I guess dex save sounds fun, right? Because like you are trying to save the airship from damage. So you know what? It's a save.
Okay, so let's see. My dex save just went up to +8, 13 + 8 at 21.
You excellently pilot the airship to make a graceful touchdown in the water, and you find that it does, in fact, float.
Oh, good. We hadn't tested that.
Quinn, you feel something come over you.
Okay.
From deep within your core, you can almost feel, taste, smell, sense the salt water all around you. And
Salty.
I would like for you to make me a charisma saving throw.
Oh, this is great. Not as great as it should have been, but a 14.
It's good enough. I was really just fishing for, the inevitable crit failure, but it's not happening right now. You hear like something. You wish you could make it out, but it's almost as if like something is whispering to you, like calling to you, and you feel as though you almost have like command of the waters around you.
Do my eyes roll in the back of my
No.
head?
But you feel very
I
connected.
was feeling like Storm for a
You
moment.
feel very but you feel very connected to the sea in which now this airship rests.
Okay.
You are currently below decks, right? Because you're at the helm. with Zero. However, if you wanted to explore this further, I would implore you to go above decks so that you could be actually out in the open with the sea.
Sure. Yeah, I'm going to climb up onto the deck.
Mm-hmm.
I think it draws me. I would assume.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Kind of more out in the open.
Exactly. And so the waters themselves around the ship are wild and untamed, especially from the touchdown. Like while it was graceful, the waters were disturbed quite a bit with the speed at which the airship had descended and landed on it. So you have quite a wake in your path, but like you're kind of going against the waves and like the normal motion of the ocean right now, as they say.
Immediately thinking of a song.
I've heard that song several times recently. I think we're talking about the same song. Yeah.
You and me, baby.
Oh my
ain't
God.
Nothing but mammals. All right. So I would. So as he climbs up onto the deck, I feel like it's almost like the air around me just kind of like surges, and my initial thought is just to will myself forward. So with the boat, I want to somehow go forward through the raging
That
waters.
feeling
Is that
that
possible?
feeling is enough that you see the wake of the ship itself behind you raise up and begin propelling the airship forward in the sea.
What?
As if the seas themselves are rising up to push you to your destination.
So we're motorboating.
Yeah, more or less. But you guys are going at a tremendous speed.
Do I feel any sort of like pressure, or like is this like draining me, or is this like giving me more energy?
You know, it's hard because right now I think that you are so focused on just your concentration and you're tuning into the sea that we'll have to see when you get to shore.
Okay. Fair
I
enough.
did not mean to make so many sea puns there just by saying sea a lot, but that was not intended. I can't take credit for them. You know, I don't need my audience getting salty because I'm just making puns up where they don't belong. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
You guys are awful.
Listen, Zach may not be here, but we can still
We
pun
can
all day.
still ride this pun train straight into the ground. Speaking of running things
Oh,
in,
Zach
Pun
may-
ship.
yeah, I was gonna say speak
Zach might not be here. Zach is here.
in our hearts, yes. And speaking of running things into the ground, when you look behind you as the lighthouse fades into the distance, you actually see it from the base collapse entirely into itself.
I didn't do it.
You started it, DM Dave.
It just clams right up, eh?
Hey!
You did kinda do
There it is. So, I will say that what would have taken you probably a good day's journey at the speed you were going, you make within maybe a matter of hours, find yourselves ashore in Ardwall. The seas literally push you straight up onto the beach, not far from the docks. And you
Hey, did you guys notice something about the... Seems like that should have taken us longer. Captain, what'd you do?
Did that take you hours to realize?
Yeah, I did kind of just hand wave a whole bunch of time, but
It's like after 3 hours, suddenly you notice that Quinn is like
someone
going
didn't
crazy. At
someone
the
didn't
ship.
someone didn't venture above. We could probably just address real quick what happened in those like couple hours, but like I am sure at some point someone may have wandered above deck and just saw Quinn with his fucking arms up, just like
Teasing, like, oh.
right, yeah.
There's a montage with yakety sax playing in the background the whole time.
Yeah. One other notable thing that happened in this 2 hours is that somehow, and it seems like maybe only you guys yourselves as the heroes have noticed that while there was a memorial service for Jed Dim merely hours ago, he's up and about walking on around the ship. And eventually he reports up to Zero during this journey. And you see him like kind of rubbing his hands together. And he goes, "Ooh, Zero. Ooh, what are we getting up to today, my friend? Ooh, yeah. What is this? What do we got? What kind of piloting are we doing today? What can you
I like
teach
how
me?
he
Oh,
still maintains some of the macho man.
I'm feeling frisky. I'm feeling dangerous."
All right, so good. I'm glad to see you're back on your feet. We've got a little bit of danger here. The danger is that this is an airship, and I have all of my experience in piloting airships, and I don't know how to pilot a boat. I have no idea how to drive this thing. Now that it's nautical, and the only person I know who knows how to drive the boat is, by every account I've heard, waggling his hands doing something above decks.
Yeah, the ship is literally piloting itself. Well, the sea is.
Yeah,
piloting
Zero
it.
hasn't caught up to that part yet. It's the waggling of hands, and he doesn't know what he's doing.
Wacky waveable inflatable tube man, something like that.
Yeah, that too.
Mm-hmm. You have a suit. You have a suitcase with that in it. You know.
I do. I know. Actually, you know what? I make that happen next to me.
Like
I just go Samsonite,
and it just
and it opens
pops up.
and the wacky waveable inflatable tube man is doing that right beside me.
Wonderful. I love
It's a
that.
shame you missed a golden opportunity to put it right at the bow of the ship.
Yeah, I could just see that as you guys are like plowing ashore, right at the.
I'm king of the world.
Like the airship comes to like a firm halt as the sand from the beach, stops its forward momentum, but still at the front of the ship, unwavering. Well, I guess you're wavering quite a bit. Is this that case of inflatable tubes, right? Or the person of inflatable tubes, just flapping around, and that's how you make an entrance.
Maybe with the sudden stop, it kind of slaps against the front of the ship.
Yeah, but then it just rights
resets.
itself again, because that's what it does. What an entrance. Man, you guys really know how to make an entrance. A bunch of, the crews of different ships and dockhands and whatnot rush to shore to help kind of make sure that this doesn't sink back into the sea, or, checking the ship for damages and trying to help you guys lower the gangplank and ladders to get everybody off. Some students are coming above decks now with bruises and, a few bumps and scrapes here and there from being thrashed around from, all of the initial water landing and the running aground of the ship. But this is, by all accounts, everything looks pretty good.
How's Quinn feeling? How am I feeling?
Make a Constitution saving throw.
Nat 20!
Of course.
Woo!
You feel like you've almost unlocked some permanent potential here, as if like this is what you were destined and born to do.
I'm king of the world!
Well, at least the seas.
Well, there you go.
The wet
The
parts.
70s.
King of the
And-
Sea World?
Ooh.
That was
As
bad.
as the airship is getting unloaded, it's starting to regain some of its aerial buoyancy. So there, has to be some minor adjustments made to actually, because this thing wants to float on its own. So there have to be some minor adjustments made to keep it aground. Not sure if there's like an anchor you guys have thrown aboard or something to kind of just, tether it or keep it, from.
Ballast system.
Yeah, exactly. Just kind of, controlling the ballast to make sure that you guys are staying at the right
Yeah.
altitude.
I would say probably a couple of compartments at the back right next to each other. One being a hold of holding and one being a standard hold. You just move stuff out of one into the other
Yeah.
to control your ballast.
Yeah, and it looks like there are some minor hull repairs that are going to be needed. It does appear that at some point there were some points where maybe some of the automata had grabbed onto the hull of the ship towards the bottom. As you can see that there's like holes punched in and then like almost like a scraping down as they were just flung from that nosedive you had made. But it seems like you guys are safe for now. Among the crowd at the, on shore is a familiar face. Someone, at least some people in this party have interacted with before. I think everyone but Hedrick, honestly, or because Jarrell probably would have met her at some point in time in his service to Baroness Anasterian, aka Captain Kip. But it's Boris, you guys knew her as Boris the Butcher. You hear her name is now going by Boris the Benevolent these days, or Baroness the Butcher. And she seems to be kind of just helping out with some general things, but maybe she's also looking to kind of just talk to you guys. So that just, what are you doing, Boris? I guess, how would you be assisting, or, what would you be doing here? And what are you, how are you approaching the situation?
I'm observing and popping a bubblegum cigar.
Nice detail. Forgot about that. She did have bubblegum cigars.
Just observing for now. I'm waiting to be noticed.
Are you tapping your foot patiently, or are you just
Oh, I look annoyed that I haven't been noticed yet. Oh, yes.
Who's going to be the
I am
first?
tapping my foot, arms crossed, and popping gum why don't you see me and say hello yet?
Hedrick wouldn't recognize her, but Fran, would you say that there's any distinguishing feature? I guess Nicole, was there anything just to the naked eye? Would you stand out amongst a crowd on a dock?
I'm 13 years old and I have hot pink shoelaces. I stand out a little bit.
Okay.
In my black leather armor.
I'm gonna lean over to Jarrell as I'm ushering some of the students and getting these people and be like, "Hey, Jarrell, do you recognize that person over there? She looks pissed."
Jarrell was just waking up from his 8-hour required long rest that he's not still at 1 HP or whatever I was left at. And so he's kind of groggy. Manservant and Sven and Hans were all pampering him kind of while he was sleeping. He turns his head slowly and says, "Oh, yes, I do know her. I believe that was oh God, it's Boris the Butcher."
Hey guys, how's it going?
Quinn doesn't notice her at all.
Jarrell backs up when he realizes that it's you. Even a 6'2", 250-pound muscle man Jarrell is a little scared of the Butcher.
Oh, come on, guys. We're all friends here. I jump in for a hug.
He cautiously pats the top of your head.
And Hedrick is astounded, eyes wide. How do you know each other?
She works for Kip. Do you still work for Kip?
Yeah, I guess you could say I'd still kind of... I've got my own kind of thing going on now. I'm a baroness.
Oh, I'm a lord. Good to meet you again, then.
Baroness,
I swallow my bubblegum cigar and pull out another one.
Chain smoking bubblegum cigar.
Yeah, you got to settle down with that, Boris.
Quinn doesn't notice any of that, and he's actually greeting / salutating the students as they get off the ship, just reminding them that it was Quinn Southwind and his heroes of Talduria that saved them this time.
Quinn et al.
Quinn, make me a persuasion check.
On who? The students?
Just in general. Just make me one. Don't ask.
For the world. Just for the world.
I mean, luckily I have really good charisma because these rolls haven't been that great on my charisma checks, but that is going to be a 16.
Okay. I would say the majority of them definitely feel as though you were their true savior. However, others are praising Zero's crack piloting.
Well, only the ones who failed the wisdom saving throw.
Which was,
speaking of which was as Zero departs the ship with a nice jaunty captain's hat at a rakish angle on his head, all 6 foot more taller than I was trying to describe his build next to Jarrell, and you would say that if Jarrell is 6'4", that Zero is 6 foot more, and he's more 150 pounds.
Right, just this big hulking
Like,
metal
yeah.
and wooden thing.
Yes. The build is as if Terry Crews were about 25% larger and built entirely out of brass and mahogany.
I mean, you're
Wearing a
using
very
this word
large white
build,
lab coat.
and you were literally built. So I mean,
Yes.
yeah, your build is better than
I know
all
what
of
I
us.
said.
I get it.
Mm-hmm.
And he is carrying in his right hand now his mug of the boss, which still says world's greatest airship pilot.
Mm-hmm.
And anyone, upon first meeting him and seeing that, would have to succeed on a wisdom saving throw of 15 or better.
Hey, Boris, make a wisdom saving throw.
We've all failed already.
Yeah,
I chose to fail. I just believed him.
me too.
12.
I just have shitty wisdom.
Yeah. So, yes, on that fail, you do perceive him to actually be the best airship pilot you have ever
The
seen.
world's greatest airship pilot.
Zero. Well,
Yeah, okay,
that was
there's no reason to not believe that. Wow. You must be really good.
I've had some practice.
Just then, as you guys are kind of making some pleasantries, right, and everyone's gathering around, and Quinn is trying to make even more adoring fans because he never stops.
As many as I can.
Someone wearing what appears to be almost like friar's robes and has like that typical friar haircut with like the the bald at the top but the ring of hair around it. Comes up like looking very frantic, seeing Jarrell departing the airship, and runs straight up to you, Jarrell, and says, "Oh, Lord Jarrell, His Holiness himself, Francis Popeson, the Archcleric, would love to speak to you. He has a very, very important task and message for you."
Popeson wants to speak to me? Oh, what an
Yes,
honor.
His Holiness requests your presence at your earliest convenience.
Where is he currently?
How he's in the main...
Where are we?
well.
He's at the private resort at the beach where the summit has been happening. Yes.
Are we close to the summit? That's where. Okay, just making sure that's where we landed.
Yeah, you are in Ardwall, so the summit is still very much happening. All of the world's, all the Southern Kingdom's leaders are still here.
It's been like a couple months too, huh?
I mean, it hasn't been a couple months, but it's been, I would say maybe at this
while.
point, like days or weeks maybe have passed, but not, I wouldn't say months yet.
Okay, yeah, because we left the
You left
meeting
for the
to go.
yeah, it took a few days for you guys to reach the Tri-Nation Peninsula just because of certain factors, but time passage is irrelevant. I'm sorry, audience, if you're looking for consistency, but we don't have any of that. We're fresh out.
We had 3 missions in between,
Yeah.
so probably a couple weeks.
I think the
Just
passage of
travel
time
time
has always
alone.
been something that we just kind of make up as we go. And you know what? Things always take different times, and it always seems to be Thursday when we need it to be.
Is it
Oh, of
Thursday?
Unfortunately, today is not Thursday.
Is it?
Damn it!
Darn it.
Tomorrow is.
He said when we need it to be.
Tomorrow is Thursday.
Oh, nice. Well, I do think that
So this is Thursday morn then.
It's pre-Tuesday.
Thursday Eve.
It's pre-Thursday.
Pre-Thursday. Thursday Eve. There it is. That's what I was looking for.
It's Thursday Junior.
In that case, I do believe we should do nothing and make sure that we get breakfast in the morning. Okay, so do we have horses or anything? I don't think we have horses. Do we have the horses
no one
with us?
really brought you horses. I mean, and I don't think we ever established that there were horses aboard the airship, seeing as how you have a land vehicle that Zero built in there.
We own horses. I wasn't sure if we brought
You
them
do.
on the airship with us.
No. I believe those horses were left in
The stable at the
High Rock?
keep
Yeah.
at High Rock.
You guys said
I
sailed
would've
here, I
figured
want to
we-
say. don't remember how we got to Ardwall. No, you guys took the airship here. Your horses have not been seen for a while because you guys have been flying everywhere.
Who knows where they are?
Yeah, they're probably back at the keep somewhere.
I would think they're at the
Someone
keep.
has probably taken them there by now.
Yeah. We do have people left back at the keep, right? Someone should probably check.
There
it.
are probably
the
some.
interns of the intern.
The second wave
Oh,
of interns.
I don't want to know.
I mean, there's at least a bare bones staff there keeping up on things. I guess who would be considered the lord of that estate would probably be responsible for making sure that happens. So I guess you would have to ask the lord of that estate, if they had put any plans in place to have it
We should definitely ask him.
kept up. Yeah. Who is it, I wonder?
Is it Felix?
There's a groundskeeper, Willie. Don't you worry.
It's a mystery. We'll never actually know.
Actually, I feel like whoever the groundskeeper is currently, his name is now Willie.
Okay, yeah, I can be down with that. You are the lord of the estate, after all.
And I actually call him Billy, and he hates it.
I like this, and it's now canon. Someone write it down, because I'm not gonna.
I'm on it.
Yeah, the lord of the estate should be keeping track of that shit.
Anyways, the very panicked-looking friar fellow is awaiting your confirmation, Jarrell.
Yeah, Jarrell is definitely. He knows that it's important that they go. I feel like he should gather everyone though, so he's going to go and I guess find Quinn first. Quinn, how,
You are so
what do you do-
welcome. You are so welcome. Please be
For what?
saved by me any day. Oh, that was just me
I don't
talking.
believe you've ever saved me, Quinn.
He's talking to
I
his
wasn't
adoring
talking to
fans.
you.
I understand.
I'm ignoring you.
What was his name? The Popeson's title.
He is the
Archcleric.
the supreme archcleric.
Okay. Quinn, I've been invited to a meeting with the Supreme Archcleric. It seems quite important. Would you like to be involved?
Oh, important? Of course. Of course.
It seems like
When
you
shall
are the
we
only.
go?
I feel we should go now. You're one of the only ones I see. Hedrick, I suppose you're here.
Yeah, thanks for noticing me, dude.
I've been invited to a very important meeting. Would you like to come?
Sure, Boris. I don't think I introduced myself. How you doing, Hedrick? That totally makes sense. What are you doing? Are you just hanging around? I mean, we're gonna go to this thing. You want to come?
I'm here for the summit anyway, so I might as well come with you. Yeah, I can, tag along.
All right, let's get the helmsman. Where's that
Did you
world's
just
best
invite
helmsman?
Did you just invite a 13-year-old girl that you just met?
She just told me she was a baroness, and she gave Jarrell a big, huge hug in front of me. So I buy it.
She's a friend.
Okay, I've been with you guys. I've been with you long enough.
I give Captain Quinn a dirty look and hand Hedrick a bubblegum cigar.
Well, thank you, little lady.
Bubblegum cigar adds +1 to charisma.
Not like I need it.
Now knowing that Jarrell is going to be meeting with the Archcleric, he's going to collect like all the holy things that he has, especially the helmet. The helmet, his sigils, all those other things that are like just to make sure that when he gets to this meeting,
You have
as
to look
holy as
as
humanly
as
possible.
holy, right? I mean, you're about to present yourself to His Holiness, right?
And as he's gathering his things in his helmet, something clicks in his head, and he remembers Zero is Valen's avatar of war. And it being wartime, marches off to find Zero. I'm not sure where Zero would be at this exact moment.
He may have disembarked by now.
He's disembarked. He's kind of doing some walkarounds around the area, but he's not going to be hard to find. I mean, kind of sticks out a little bit.
Okay. So yeah, Jarrell just immediately catches up to him and says, Zero, I have a meeting, and it seems like an important meeting. I'm with the Archcleric, Popeson. You being Valen's avatar of war, I feel like you would be important to this meeting, representing our Lord herself, our lady, whatever.
It sounds like a good idea. But just between the two of us, who really knows outside of our little circle here?
I told Boris the Butcher.
Okay. I have the distinct feeling that our Pope he's going to have one of two reactions here. Maybe we keep this one to ourselves, but I would be happy to accompany you regardless.
Jarrell
We didn't-
thinks nothing of Zero's suspicions of Popeson. He is the arch-cleric. He is, yeah. Jarrell doesn't
He's
buy
someone
into
you
his
greatly,
suspicions.
you greatly admire and respect this person. He brought you up,
Yeah.
Mhm.
as a young paladin in the ranks, took you in when your father died in glorious battle.
So, yeah, that comment kind of goes one ear and out the other with Jarrell. He's kind of like, he's still fidgeting around with the helmet to make sure it still fits.
We can't forget that we didn't retrieve Dr. Hines. I mean, I don't know what the Omega Project's going to have to say to us when they find out we brought a whole bunch of people back, except the one they asked for.
We saved
It's okay.
300 other...
That sort of thing happens at least once a week with them.
The scientist mortality rate.
Yeah, I mean, it may be worth checking in on that. It is up to you guys, I guess, what or how you approach this. There were also those boys you had rescued from the Tri-Nation Peninsula. But it appears you've beat the rescue flotilla to shore. So you are the first to arrive back from the Tri-Nation Peninsula.
With all the students.
Even though they had a head start. So where's the next
You're
place
welcome.
you're moving to? Are you going to find the Supreme Archcleric, or are you going to check in with Chief Executive? By the way, Nicole, just to fill you in, the leader of the Omega Project, his first name is Chief, his last name is Executive.
And Chief Executive sounds just like Diamond Joe Quimby.
You could tell Hedrick's hesitation, and he's kind of leaning towards Jarrell to follow this friar because we failed to bring back Dr. Hines, and he told all those people on the island of Legradex that he'd have them out of there in a jiffy, but he left them all and only took the students, and then the tower collapsed. So he feels a little bad about that too.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of time to think, unfortunately, in that moment.
Yeah, and he felt like, being a hero has its ups and downs.
Yeah, it's the whole, right, the rail car and the two tracks, right?
Yeah, not to mention, I mean, yeah, we didn't save the scientist we were sent to, but y'all seem to be sleeping on the two that we did bring back.
Exactly. What were the kids' names again?
Flynn and Fletcher.
Flynn and Fletcher, right, because it was supposed to be a Phineas and Ferb thing. Anyways. Yeah, but again, those survivors have not arrived yet. They probably will be making it here shortly, as they are currently being escorted by a fleet of their own. But yeah, for right now, you guys are your options are open, and I just need someone to provide a little direction as to where we are going, as I am just the world over here.
Yeah, Jarrell would be, as long as we had suitable transportation and we weren't just abandoning 200 students on the beach.
No, there's plenty of people now handling that situation, including your own crew of the ship and the interns and other people that you've left behind to deal with that situation.
I imagine the battle wagon is quite inoperable and not the best mode of transportation for a
No, not at all.
meeting of this nature, given it was in battle literally 8 hours ago.
And it was still a prototype at that point too. So they're still pulling chunks of automata out from the wheels and wheel wells. So it's that's not serviceable at this time.
Is there
when you say appropriate transportation, are you literally saying that you are not willing to go there on foot? You are waiting for someone to bring you a horse?
I mean, would I have a vehicle that I would have maybe ridden in to get here in the first place as a Baroness? Some sort of lovely carriage situation?
I mean, yeah, I guess you tell me, Baroness.
I definitely rode up in a lovely carriage because I'm fancy now.
Okay, well, there you have it.
Hey, guys, I got a carriage. I mean, you can just, hop right in, maybe. Some of you can hang off the sides. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, it sits for normal-sized humans comfortably.
Zero looks it up and down, puts a finger up, turns and quickly sort of moves back into the airship. And after what actually sounds like loud banging coming out of the airship, comes out with 0.5.
Ah, yes, your
trusty steed?
Your trusty steed, your mechanical steed. It essentially looks like a headless horse that just
it's now painted red, by the way.
What's that?
It's now painted red, by the way.
Oh yeah, it'll go faster.
Yeah.
Does it still have the smiley face on it?
Yes.
Oh yeah, the smiley face painted on the front, where like that little stub where the head's supposed to be.
Yep.
I grab a bubblegum cigar out of my pocket and stick it to the mouth.
Well, there you have it. It's now adorned with a bubblegum cigar.
Yes.
Pulling things out of a pocket.
Plus one charisma.
Boris, would you like? Is there something that you would like anyone to notice as you're like reaching into what appears to be a leather like chest piece with a shitload of pockets on it?
It's got a shitload of pockets, and the cigars keep coming out of a pocket right here. That's about
right where for our audience.
Right on like my left chest. And the pocket itself is about 2 inches wide and 3 inches deep, which is nowhere near big enough for the size of the cigars that I keep pulling out of this pocket.
You know what? Everyone make perception checks just to see if, just for the fun of it.
Pocket of holding.
Well, no, not necessarily, but you're getting there.
We're doing perception.
Mm-hmm.
Garment of holding.
9.
I'll stay above a 16. We'll notice.
Also
17.
Perfect.
So none of us.
As an editor's note for the audience, or as a sort of a production note for the audience, when Nicole and I were creating the character for Boris, we kind of agreed upon, since everyone in the party has at least 1 or 2 like magical items, we wanted to try to make sure that we had some things for flavor. So there are some practical things and some just really silly things that will make themselves apparent when the time comes. This is one of them.
Well, Hedrick notices, and he turns and goes, "Well, Boris, you are full of surprises. And thanks for the lift."
You're very welcome. Would you like another cigar?
I'd love one. They're delicious.
Pull another one out of my pocket.
You got to teach me how to blow them bubbles. I'm not as good as you. And you see him try, and it starts slipping out, and he has to catch it with his hand, and he puts it back in.
Gross, dude.
I spend 2 or 3 minutes trying to teach him how to properly blow a bubble.
Is it a dexterity roll?
Yeah, I guess.
I guess
it would require. I guess it's dexterity. I don't know what fucking roll do you make to pop.
What about performance?
Sure, give me performance. Let's do it. It's all about how you.
I like dexterity.
Oh, a natural 20.
Oh yeah, you are. Regardless of what you rolled there, you're fine.
Well, it's like
you
my
can blow
highest
a bubble
attribute.
now. You can blow a bubble.
Yeah. I'm not trying to outdo Boris by any means, but she tells me what to do and how to shape my lips, and then it just...
Right. What's funnier to me...
pops right in my face.
What's funnier to me is that, like, y'all are level 13. Like, y'all are, like, world-renowned adventurers at this point. But we're still resorting to, like, learning how to blow bubbles, right? Like, this is the skill set you're missing.
Yeah.
So you cannot blow a bubble with caramel. You cannot blow a bubble with taffy. I imagine finding the right kind of gum for this texture in order to shape a cigar is quite particular. And learning how to work with that medium and actually inflate it takes a little learning.
Did you just call gum a medium?
I get these custom made.
It
By
totally
comparison, is a chewable candy.
I challenge you to not find gum art on the internet.
I'm
See,
sure.
Gum
were they twisted?
sculptures.
Yeah.
It
I mean, for any-
100%
for anyone who
exists.
As a response to this challenge, I blow a dexterity bubble.
Yeah, make an elephant with your bubble.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
And I use a lucky
Oh my god! She's burning a lucky point just to do that.
25.
What kind of bubblegum
You got
balloon
it.
animal do you create?
I blow an elephant whose trunk waves.
Amazing.
Hedrick like gives you like a nod, like he concedes to your talent. But we are on the carriage at this point.
You are now on the carriage, yes. All right, so again, just confirm for me, because there's been a lot of banter, but not a whole lot of decisions. Where are we going? Are we going to see the Archcleric first? Is that the plan?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yes.
So you guys
Important
had-
meeting.
So yes, the carriage rides off down to that sort of private beach at the southern end of the city of Ardwall, kind of tucked away and nestled away in this really beautiful cove, a little bit further away from, the more public use like docks and residential areas. This is definitely, secluded for a reason, seeing as how this is a very high profile thing that's happening. They really want to keep some of the masses, away from these very high profile people that are staying here. So you guys make it back, and there's that main complex that I mentioned, where like it has this large, gathering hall with these beautiful like large windows that overlook the coast. And as you guys are making your way into that complex, a few things jump out at you. There's a lot more people here than there were when you last left. Lots of Omega Project engineers running around. You can see a lot of rooms in this place have been converted into almost miniature R&D labs. There's not a whole lot of explosions happening here. In fact, there are signs posted everywhere stating that under no circumstances should any explosive experiments be conducted on premise. There are offshore labs for that.
What's the damn point then?
Listen, not all science has to be explosive. But, you can see lots of schematics.
What do you work for?
Lots of airship schematics and things like that. They are building that armada based off of the design of the one and only airship that you possess today. Some have started to come together. In fact, you can see, you guys had seen on your way here some of the dry dock areas they had converted into construction platforms for these new airship fleet that they're building to, eventually bring the fight to the undead. Other things you notice. While Baroness Anasterian, I believe I had mentioned, is not here. She's probably minding and managing affairs in the Kingdom of Vesh because the Queen herself isn't in attendance. There's a few like folks of a younger age running around and helping out stuff, like people almost around like Boris's age or younger, who are. You can't really tell what they're doing, but they look busy. Moving around, like looking kind of just very intent on wherever they're going. Boris, you know these people. They're yours. And
I'm casually tossing bubblegum cigars out of my pocket to them as we're going past, too, if they're close enough.
Boris, who are all these children here? They're your people?
They are, yeah. That's there's kind of an establishment we've got going on here. You can call it the EOL, but this is the established orphan line. They help me out a little bit. And I help them out. They've got a place to live, and they help me out with some of my baronessing and my other affairs.
That is
Well,
I love that.
That sounds great. Everybody could use more fans, right?
Exactly.
Did somebody say fans?
Oh my god. Another person dressed in friar-like robes, who sounds almost exactly like the guy you met before, but it looks different. He has a much longer beard. Comes up and says, "Ah, yes, Lord Jarrell and company. It is quite fortuitous that you have arrived safely. The Archcleric must speak with you right away, and I am afraid he must speak with you privately."
Voices are killing.
Does he mean like me? Do you mean me, myself, alone?
Yes, your friends will have to wait in the common area.
Now, this here Warforged with me is very important. I think the Archcleric would like to meet him.
We shall see, but I have been specifically instructed that this information and situation is for your ears only.
Jarrell kind of sheepishly goes with him, leaving Quinn in the common area.
I try to sneak along and hide and tag along behind them.
Oh. Make me...
You're gonna come with?
Yeah, I was gonna go and I'm gonna go invisible.
Well, okay. Oh, here we go. Make me a stealth check, Boris. Boris said it first, so Boris, please make me a stealth check. Oh, wait. Don't bother. I forgot about reliable talent. You can't roll lower than
She
a 20.
can't fail.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for the sake of doing the stealth check, I rolled a 33.
Okay, well, literally no one sees you leave. Literally no one, especially with all the other young folks walking about here. You know, your presence could be easily, anywhere, because that's just what you do. Quinn is going invisible, because that's what Quinn does.
That is what Quinn does.
Zero, what are you doing?
Drinking dielectric grease out of the mug.
And taking a seat somewhere in the common area where others are gathered.
Yeah, I'm chilling out in the common area. I don't mind being common.
And Hedrick?
Catch my good buddy Zero. He's got his own little bit of rum, and he'll just start hitting his flask and kind of eyeballing the eye candy in the room again. Maybe keeping an eye out for Tessa.
Quinn's sister got the hots for her.
Well, it didn't quite end up the way he wanted.
I mean,
Quinn's
also-
sister.
So, walking off towards the Archcleric, we have Jarrell with a silent Quinn and Boris in tow. And that is where we will leave you this evening for the Hapless Heroes podcast. But listen, hey, friends, if you like us, you could find us on the internet. We're on such places as Twitter and Instagram at Hapless Heroes. We're also on Facebook and Reddit, just Hapless Heroes Podcast. All of those places you can find sticky posts that will point you to really the crown jewel of our internet presence, our Discord server, where you can meet and interact with us on a daily basis. It's where we spend most of our time talking to you. And if you really like us, though, you can leave us a 5-star review on the podcast service of your choice. All of those things help us grow in the rankings, and make this show bigger and better as we continue to get more and more of your kind words. And hell, we'll even say those kind words right back to you on the air for being a 5-star human that you are. But if you really, really, really like us, you could donate to our Patreon. It's just patreon.com/haplessheroes. We have a myriad of rewards ranging from just like a shiny little role in our Discord server to access to bloopers and other materials from the show, unreleased episodes, to even potentially even taking part in the show itself, either by contributing a story arc or being on it.
The golden one is the tasteful nudes. That's really what everyone's buying for.
Yeah, no dollar. No one has reached that dollar amount yet.
Handing them out for free. Here you go. Here you go.
That's not tasteful, John.
Oh, that. I'm sorry. I forget sometimes. And if you like us, right now you love us, Sally Fields and the whole deal, go and remember the show Battlebards where they had the robots fight each other? So you're going to make each individual BattleBot based off of a Hapless Heroes character. Then you're going to bring them to your local supermarket and just unleash the robots and see which one wins. And I'm banking on Jarrell because Jarrell usually wins.
Supermarket.
You can make mine at the supermarket. It's bubblegum.
Oh my god. Amazing. Fantastic. Well, I guess there's not really much for me to do to follow that up besides outro this wonderful cast. So we'll start on my left this time with Dave as Zero,
Good evening, everyone.
Mike as Lord and Captain Quinn Southwind,
I'm sneaking into a very important meeting.
our wonderful guest Nicole as Boris the Butcher,
Bye, guys.
Phil as Hedrick the Entertainer,
Strongly suggest once we get that people mover again, you got to ride on top of that thing. It's just bad.
and John as Lord Jarrell the Light.
I feel so very important.
And I'm Francesco. I was your host and DM. We'll see you next week. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.